Thank you for tuning in to the live show. You know what time it is. It is your boy Genesis. It is currently 6:20. Yes, y'all. We are back. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. It is currently 6:20 p.m. and today's date is still the 23rd of January 2025. Welcome to another episode. We just got done about probably an hour ago, and now we're back for another episode because the legendary, the 45th, now the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is absolutely a hard worker. He's been working his butt off since he got sworn in. Since the inauguration day, he's been working back to back to back to back. Now we're here with another news, breaking news. Trump signs multiple new executive orders. And guess what? He just signed to declassify the JFK files. Isn't this just what we bargained for? People voted for this guy based on these things, and he's already fulfilling his promise. On day 3, this is night 3, and he already has all of this done. If I could vote again, I would vote for Donald Trump.
Very important in just about every case. And it will go through the first one, please.
Do you want to? Yeah, Mr. President, this is an executive order on crypto. We're going to be. Oh, sorry, we're doing AI first. Sorry, Mr. President, this is an executive order on AI. We're basically announcing the administration's policy to make America the world capital in artificial intelligence and to dominate and to lead the world in AI.
Do you want to say your name, your full name?
David Sachs, AI and Crypto Czar.
David is one of the greatest in the world at AI. Most respected, probably, there is. So that should take us to the forefront, right?
Absolutely. We got to win.
Okay. Thank you. And this, David, is?
Yeah, this is the Crypto EO. We're going to be forming an internal working group to make America the world capital in crypto under your leadership.
Which is really going up, right?
Absolutely.
All right, David, that's for you. Thanks, sir. You find them exciting? They might not be exciting, but we're going to make a lot of money for the country.
Thank you, sir.
And so is David. You have to check him out. There's nobody like this guy. They said, how did you get David Sachs? How did you do that? And he's doing it for the country more than anything else. So we appreciate it, David. Thank you very much.
This is an executive order establishing a presidential commission, an advisory commission on science and technology.
Good. Explain that a little bit?
This is wonderful to watch.
The idea is to get together top people from government, the private sector, technology industry, as well as educational institutions, to make sure that America maintains its leadership position with respect to science and technology development in the years ahead.
Good. That's great.
Next, sir, we have a presidential memorandum encouraging departments and agencies in your government, including the Department of the Interior, to promote federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina.
I love the Lumbee tribe. So this is their first big step, right?
This would be a huge step for them, sir.
Yeah, they were with me all the way. They were great. North Carolina, Lumbee tribe. Okay, well, you'll send them a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
They were great. Okay?
And if you'd like, I could get them that pen, sir, as well.
Yeah, let's do that.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Executive orders, baby.
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this.
Yo, it's on, yo. It's on.
They'll be very happy. So they're all in prison now.
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous. Okay?
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trump just signed the executive order to declassify the JFK files. Listen.
Are out of custody.
It's ridiculous. Okay?
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay, thank you very
Mr.
much.
President.
So, oh man, this is so unreal right now. He said he was going to declassify these files. However, it's like maybe he wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, come on. Maybe there is some, news that the government don't want us to know. But this guy is declassifying these files like he promised. JFK, Martin Luther King. Do you know what this would do for the African American community in the United States? Martin Luther King's family too as well, because they already sued the FBI. It's like, this is, oh my goodness, this is the greatest precedent we've ever had. This right here is why people voted for Trump. He makes promises and he keeps to his word. You can never find another president like this. Past president, Ronald Reagan maybe, but not as close. Because this guy is just a man that is very unorthodox. And this is why he won the election. This is incredible.
Mr. President, a U.S. judge temporarily blocks the Birthright citizenship order. Do you have any reaction?
No, obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
Mr. President, Senators Collins and Murkowski have now said they will vote against Pete Hegseth. Are you worried about his confirmation and your reaction?
No. And no surprises there. It's too bad. It's the way it is. Too bad.
And when would you adjourn Congress to make recess appointments, Mr. President?
Well, I'd take a look at that. I'd listen to John Thune. He's doing a fantastic job. We're moving along. The Democrats are trying to delay government, as they always do. They can't help themselves. Even John Ratcliffe, who's very, very strong, very popular, and liked by the Democrats. I guess he gets a lot of Democrat votes. That's taking a long time, and it shouldn't be taking a long time. They're maxing everything out so they can delay everything as much as possible.
Does Senator Thune support an effort to use recess appointments if you choose to do that?
I'd be willing to use recess appointments. It's up to John. We'll see. John Thune's a great guy, great senator, knows his stuff inside out and backwards, but I would use recess appointments if he wants to do that. Absolutely.
Mr. President,
The Democrats are just delaying. They always delay.
Mr. President, you spoke with the Saudi Crown Prince yesterday.
Who?
The Saudi Crown Prince.
Yes.
How was the call?
Great.
And they said $600 billion they're going to invest.
600. I'll ask them for $1 trillion.
You said you're going to ask for $1 trillion. Will Saudi Arabia be the first foreign country you will visit since they invest in that much?
Well, if they do that, I would, yeah. I would be glad to do that. I did it, as you know, 4 years ago. We did $450 billion, meaning the money all goes to American companies, and they purchase jets and they purchase computers and everything else. And we did $450 billion, and I guess we're at 650. And I'll see if I can talk him into
I don't
it.
Middle East again. You showed great confidence in Steve Witkoff. Why you said that you doubt that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold, since you appraised his
Well, no, I think he's great,
efforts?
but it's a very tricky place. It's very tricky. We'll see. And if something does happen, they will not be happy.
Sir, follow up on that one. In terms of Steve Witkoff, are you going to put him in charge of Iran's strategy, and do you want him talking directly with the Iranians?
No, but he's certainly somebody I would use. He's done a fantastic job. He's a great negotiator. He's a very good person, a very popular person. Gets along with people. I have great negotiators. They have no personality whatsoever, and then I have some that do. Steve has a wonderful way about him, and people like him, and even in this case, both sides like him. And he was able to make a deal. That deal would have never been made without Steve. The Biden people couldn't make the deal. They were working on it for a year and a half. They couldn't make a deal. We got it done prior to the inauguration. We said it has to be before the inauguration. I mean, the deal should hold, but if it doesn't hold, there'll be a lot of problems.
Related to your AI, EO, just hours after you made that big Stargate announcement, Elon Musk tweeted that they don't actually have the money. Is that true?
I don't know if they do, but they're putting up the money. The government's not putting up anything. They're putting up money. They're very rich people, so I hope they do. And I mean, Elon doesn't like one of those people, so you're allowed
Are
to
you
say
worried that AI is going to replace many American jobs? Does
No,
that worry you?
no. It's going to create tremendous numbers of jobs. It's going to also create a lot of benefits medically for cancer research and other things. It's going to have a huge positive impact. And, we want to be ahead of China. We're right now way ahead of China. David Sachs is one of the all-time experts. That people are amazed that you just met him. I don't know if he's still here. There he is. But one of the most respected people in that world. It's a whole different world. And we're ahead of China now because of what I'm doing. And I think it's going to be very successful.
Mr. President, please, you just asked the Davos Forum again that NATO countries should spend 5% of GDP on defense.
Yeah.
The United States don't spend 5%.
Well,
Do
I
you think it
don't
should also
think so.
apply to the United States?
We're protecting them, They're not protecting us, we're protecting them. So I don't think we should be spending, I'm not sure we should be spending anything, but we should certainly be helping them. But they should up their 2% to 5%, yeah.
Mr. President, you said earlier during your speech at Davos.
The press, this is the happiest moment for the press because now they have a lot to talk about. They can ask questions, and they have a commander-in-chief who would actually answer these questions. It's like, where has this man been for the past 4 years? Biden could never.
That you would like to see interest rates come down. How
Yeah.
much would you like to see them come down?
A
And
lot.
will you talk
I'd
with
like
Powell?
to see them come down a lot, and oil prices will come down. And when oil prices come down, everything's going to be cheaper for the American people and actually for the world, but for the American people. So I'd like to see oil prices come down. And when the energy comes down, that's going to knock out a lot of the inflation. That's going to automatically bring the interest rates down.
Are you worried that there's too much
President,
going on?
you said that you would demand
Are you worried that there's too much going on at once if you're trying to bring interest rates down, get the economy back going?
It just works that way. I mean, it just economically works that way. When the oil comes down, it'll bring down prices. Then you won't have inflation, and then the interest rates will come down.
You said that you would demand that the interest rates come down.
Well, I would.
Do you expect
I
the
would put
Fed-
in a strong statement.
Do you expect the Fed to listen to you?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk to Powell about this? And bringing the rates down?
At the right time, I would.
Sir, do you any of the people you pardoned that were participated in the January 6, 2021 attack? Do you plan to meet with any of them or meet with them at the White House?
I don't know. I'm sure that they probably would like to. I did them something important, but what they did is they were protesting a crooked election. I mean, people understand that also. And they were treated very badly. Nobody's been treated like that. So I'd be open to it, certainly. I don't know of anything like that, but I think they're going to meet in some of the congressmen, women, want to meet. But I'd certainly be open to it.
Have you spoken to them since you issued the pardons?
I haven't spoken to any of them yet, but I know they're very happy.
Mr. President,
I gave them their life back. Their life was taken away from them unnecessarily and unfairly. I gave them their life back, so I can imagine they probably would like to.
Mr. President,
what did you mean when you said that Biden took bad advice and not pardoning himself yesterday?
Well, he did. I think he did, because he pardoned all these people that are crooked as hell. Look, the congressmen, they're crooked. What they did is they destroyed evidence. When you destroy evidence, especially criminally like that, they did it criminally. And the reason they destroyed the evidence is because it proved that I was right. They didn't destroy evidence for no reason. They destroyed it because they found many documents saying that I offered 10,000 soldiers. If they had 500 soldiers or National Guard, there would have been no problem. If they had 200, that would have been. I offered 10,000 if they needed them. There would have been no problem. That's been now totally disproven. And it's also been disproven by Nancy Pelosi's daughter, who has her on tape saying it was her fault, that she has full responsibility for this. And they have all that stuff. They destroyed everything. And they go through a year and a half, 2 years of nonsense. They come up with tremendous evidence, and they destroyed evidence. And Schiff knew about it. That's why he's on there. He knew all about the destruction of evidence. A lot of people said he's the one that got him to do it. And he's a crooked guy, totally crooked politician. And so he's pardoned, and some other people are pardoned. And these are crooked politicians, every one of them. Benny Johnson, what he did is incredible. I mean, he was the leader of the committee, and he did it. Cheney, crying Adam Kinzinger, all of them. They destroyed evidence and deleted everything. There's nothing. There's no evidence now. They're crooked politicians, and they should be punished. That's even in a civil trial, you go to jail for a thing like that. They destroyed every document, from what I understand, every document, because it proved that I was totally innocent.
Do you plan to send up to 10,000 troops to the southern border, sir?
Yeah. Oh, southern border?
Yeah.
Yes,
When
the
you
border.
say southern border, when I said 10,000 troops, I was referring to the capital.
Oh, I see. And
No,
when
yeah,
does that?
I was referring to the
When do you
capital.
plan
I
to do
offered
that?
10,000 troops for the capital before January 6th.
And as for the 1,500 at the southern border, sorry to clarify, what exactly do you want them to be doing right now?
Making sure that the border is safe and secure, and that criminals don't come into our country.
Mr. President, do you think that sanctions on Russia will force President Putin to negotiate?
I don't know, but I think he should make a deal.
Mr.
Sir,
President, does it bother you that Elon Musk criticized a deal that you made publicly, that he said that he tweeted that?
No, it doesn't. He hates one of the people in the deals.
Have you spoken to him since then?
No, I've spoken to Elon, but I've
about
spoken
that.
to all of them, actually. No, the people in the deal are very, very smart people. But Elon, one of the people he happens to hate, but I have certain hatreds of people too.
Sir, Sir, on China, what do you think Xi Jinping can do?
This man is a legend.
Which one?
The Ukraine-Russia war. What can Xi Jinping do about it?
You could never do a gotcha moment with this man this second term. He's so cool, calm, collected. It's like, well, Elon criticized your Stargate AI deal. It's like, no, I mean, come on. Sam Altman, he's talking about Sam Altman right here, because Sam Altman is, the CEO for OpenAI. And in case some people do not know, Elon Musk was one of the first people to invest $100 million into OpenAI. Then Sam Altman is filing for OpenAI to be, closed and to be for profit. It's supposed to be a non-profit organization. This is why Elon invested $100 million into it. But now it's like, Sam Altman is saying, you know what, we got to make money, we got to make profit. And Elon is like, well, if you're going to make money from it, why did I, invest $100 million to start the company, in the first place? And Elon actually named OpenAI. Okay, so this is why Elon doesn't like Sam Altman. And, this is giant tech moguls talking right here. And, of course, Trump is a businessman. He's been a businessman since for 40 years now. So he knows what is going on right here.
China?
Yeah.
They have a lot of power over Russia. They supply energy to Russia. And Russia supplies energy to them. They supply other things to, it's really a very big trade. It's a very big trading partner. But Russia supplies a lot of energy to China. China pays them a lot of money for that. And I think they have a lot of power over Russia. So I think Russia should want to make a deal. Maybe they want to make a deal. I think from what I hear, Putin would like to see me, and we'll meet as soon as we can. I'd meet immediately. Every day we don't meet, soldiers are being killed in a battlefield. And that battlefield is like no battlefield since World War II.
You said that Ukraine wants
and I have pictures that you don't want to see. Soldiers are being killed on a daily basis at numbers that we haven't seen in decades. And it would be nice to end that war. It's a ridiculous war.
You said that Ukraine's ready to make a deal. Did President Zelensky tell you that personally?
Yeah, sure. He's ready to negotiate a deal. He'd like to stop. He's somebody that lost a lot of soldiers, and so did Russia. Lost a lot. Russia lost more soldiers. They lost 800,000 soldiers. Would you say that's a lot? I'd say it's a lot.
Mr. President, you said that you wanted to make Dr. King's dream a reality. What's your response to his children and civil rights leaders who say that your DEI orders are a contradiction of his dream and could further drive racial disparities?
Well, I haven't heard that.
Mr. President, you put the Houthis back on the terror list. How do you see the war in Yemen end?
Well, we'll see what happens, but they can't shoot down our ships, the Houthis.
Yes.
You can't shoot down our ships or any ships, and that's what they've been doing. So they're on the terror list. That's not good for them.
So why did you revoke security protections for former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Brian Hook?
Well, the same reason I did. When you have protection, you can't have it for the rest of your life. Do you want to have a large detail of people guarding people for the rest of their lives? I mean, there's risks to everything.
So would you support striking Iran's nuclear facilities?
Say it.
Would you support Israel, for example, striking Iran's nuclear facilities?
Well, I'm
or
not
do you
going to
believe
answer
in
that.
diplomacy?
Obviously, I'm not going to answer that question. We'll have to see. I'm going to be meeting with various people over the next couple of days, and we'll see. But hopefully that can be worked out without having to worry about it. It would be nice. It would really be nice if that could be worked out without having to go that further step.
And who are you going to meet with?
Well, I'd rather not say that, but very high-level people. But hopefully that can be worked out. Look, Iran hopefully will make a deal, and if they don't make a deal, I guess that's okay too.
And Mr. President, just to follow up, you said you think the Fed should listen to you. Can you elaborate on why you think it should?
With regard to interest rates?
Correct, yes.
Because I think I know interest rates much better than they do. And I think I know it certainly much better than the one who's primarily in charge of making that decision. No, I'm guided by them very much, but if I disagree, I will let it be known.
So your plans for China and Mexico are much tougher, or the ones for Canada and Mexico are much tougher than the one for China. Why is it softer for China?
Well, China's already paying a lot of tariffs because of me. And when you add them up, I would say, they're paying a lot. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars. They never paid 10 cents until I came along. When I came along, they've paid hundreds of billions of dollars. Never paid anything. And so they've already started at a higher base.
Is February 1st the date for Chinese tariffs as well, sir? February 1, or was that just Mexico and Canada?
It's Mexico and Canada, but we're talking about China too. Look, China's sending us tremendous amounts of bad drugs, fentanyl, really bad stuff. Most of it comes through Mexico. And we're losing I think 300,000 lives a year because of that. People say 150, 100, 120. I think 300,000 lives a year. Those are old numbers. The lower number is a low number. And we can't have that. They've got to stop sending it. I had a deal with President Xi, but it was a deal that wasn't followed up by Biden, of course, where they were going to issue the death penalty to people that make fentanyl, and that would have stopped it. But we'll have to stop it with tariffs. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
This is just mind-blowing. This man comes on day 3, declassifies MLK's file, declassifies JFK's files. On night 3, this is in like maybe 2 years in, maybe, this is first day he starts signing executive orders. On day 3, he declassifies all of these files. Isn't it just amazing to see? Finally, a commander-in-chief who is ready to work. Yeah, you can never, man, this is probably the fastest, most efficient commander-in-chief the United States has ever seen. You can never take that away from him, man. You could hate him, but you can never take this away. He is very efficient.
More breaking news to kick off this hour of The Will Cain Show. This afternoon, a federal judge temporarily blocking President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship.
Yeah, I knew they were going to do that.
Blatantly unconstitutional. Those leading the challenge against the order say more than 150,000 newborn children would be denied citizenship every year if this order stands. President Trump saying the battle isn't over yet.
Mr. President, a U.S. judge temporarily blocks the birthright citizenship order. Do you have any reaction?
No, obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
There's a lot of hysteria around the birthright citizenship executive order, but the idea behind President Trump's order is nothing new, at least around the world. Allow me to explain. Some context might help put in perspective the hysteria. First, number one, birthright citizenship is not the norm around the world. Only about 30 countries, mostly in the Western Hemisphere, recognize the idea that if you're born on their soil, you have as your birthright citizenship. No, instead, most of the world, Europe, Asia, Africa, work like Australia. This is how it works in Australia. In Australia, if a child is born to a permanent resident or a citizen of one of the parents of that child of Australia, then they are a citizen. Or in an alternative, if that child resides in Australia for a decade after birth, they can apply for citizenship. Now, as I mentioned, very few countries around the world recognize birthright citizenship, and some that previously have repealed the concept. I'll give you Dominican Republic and Ireland. Ireland in 2004 became the last European country to recognize birthright citizenship. They repealed that measure in 2004 with a 79% referendum. The Dominican Republic repealed birthright citizenship in 2013 as they were flooded with illegal immigrants from Haiti, some 200,000 children from Haiti born in the DR. Those numbers reflect some of the numbers we're now being told would be the number of children born here that would not have citizenship if we repeal birthright citizenship. Now, let's go to some background on the Supreme Court case that helped establish the concept of birthright citizenship. It goes back to 1898. The case was the U.S. versus Wong Kim Ark. Wong Kim Ark was a 21-year-old Chinese immigrant who was born here in the United States. He left at the age of 21 to go visit relatives in China. When he came back to the United States, he was denied re-entry. The Supreme Court eventually heard the case of Wong Kim Ark, and the question was, what does the language of the 14th Amendment mean for birthright citizenship? I want to, if I may, read for you the language of the 14th Amendment. It reads simply and as follows: all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. But the key phrase for legal scholars that want to see this fight go to the Supreme Court is what is meant by subject to the jurisdiction thereof. If someone is born to parents of another country, are they not subject to the jurisdiction of, say, Mexico?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to.
Of course, I knew they were going to definitely block this birthright citizenship order. Of course, it is in DC to start with. DC, you could never, I mean, come on. DC, 93% of the people in DC voted for Joe Biden in 2020. So there's no way, there's no way they were going to like just let Trump smooth sail. There's no way. Birthright citizenship for me is, what do I think? I already said what I think during the first live stream we did today. If you're not an American citizen, if you're just here on tourism, or you're here for, shopping, or you're here to sightsee or whatever, like on student visa, you should, when you have a kid here, I mean, should you get a citizenship because you're just here and you happen to have your kid here? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. So with him saying you have to be a citizen, well, when I had my daughter, my wife, obviously she's from the United States. Her mom, like all her generation is from the United States. So when we had our daughter automatically became a United States citizen. I wasn't a United States citizen. I had my green card. So automatically with my green card, even if I was married to someone who wasn't a United States citizen, because I had my green card, my daughter was automatically going to be a United States citizen. But I had my green card. My wife is from the United States. She's a citizen, was born here. So with my daughter, obviously she just became a United States citizen. But I mean, it's sort of kind of like tricky because of the 14th Amendment. So I'm not going to go back and forth with anybody, because people are going to say, well, if you're changing the 14th Amendment, it's like, well, you could change every other amendment, so it's kind of tricky. All right. It's like a thin line to walk on. Do I support Trump? 100%.
Just saw Donald Trump take virtual center stage at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. It was his first major speech to global business and political leaders since taking office just a few days ago. It really was the first time as 47th president he addressed the number one issue for most Americans, the economy, beyond the top line promises we saw on day one of his presidency, including the inauguration. Some of the key issues, of course, are lowering inflation and how he is going to deal with job issues. CNN is covering this story from all angles. Richard Quest is on the ground in Davos. Jeff Zeleny is at the White House. Daniel Dale is, of course, our fact checker. I want to start first with you, Richard. You are there. You cover these issues in and out. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, first of all, good luck, Daniel, as you try and fact check that lot. I am absolutely exhausted having listened to all of that. It was a potpourri of great hits, but if we actually sift it down to policy announcements that we learned from today, number one, he's calling on OPEC to lower the price of oil via the Saudis. He wants them to lower the price of oil, but at the same time, he wants the Saudis, who've already pledged to spend $500 billion, to raise that to $1 trillion. He says he's now hoping that the Crown Prince MBS will invest $1 trillion in the United States. He's going to now call upon NATO to increase the defense spending to 5%. Now, he talked about this during the election, but today, as I listened to the president, he said, I am calling on NATO to increase the defense spending to 5%, when barely, it was a hard job to get them to the old target. This is going to be very difficult, and the biggie, in my view.
Of course, you can have your reservations about what the commander-in-chief says, but this is the World Economic Forum, and everything he said is based on what he promised during the campaign trail. He's doing exactly. This is like one of the person that people would elect into office that would literally be doing exactly what he promised. Everything he's doing right now, he promised you during the campaign trail. He told you he was going to declassify MLK, JFK files. He told you he was going to pardon the J6ers. He told you he was going to seal the borders. He told you he was going to end DEI. He told you there's only going to be male and female. Everything he's doing, he actually promised. And this is why people voted for him. So it's like the people who voted for Trump are having a blast right now.
The biggie on the economy. He has warned European companies, European countries, manufacture in the United States, and these were the president's words, it's your prerogative not to, but if you choose not to, we will tariff. In other words, the threat, the gauntlet has now been thrown down. You manufacture domestically or we'll tariff the product. And he still seems to think that that won't cost American consumers more.
Jeff, I want to play for our viewers a little bit of what the president said about what he considers his message for the audience.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff.
Isn't this what you want? Isn't this what you want from a commander-in-chief who actually commands respect? He talks like a commander-in-chief should talk, with so much composure. He's telling the world, come do business here in the United States. We will give you the best tax cuts. Come build your companies here in this great land of the United States. Come here and do business here. But if you do not want to come here, then you're going to get tariffed. People are like, well, this is bad. This is bad. How are you going to say it's bad if you are American? If you're American, you should be happy that your commander-in-chief, the president, wants to bring jobs into the United States.
Differing amounts, but a tariff.
This is precisely what Richard was talking about there. Now, I wanted our viewers to hear it for themselves. You, Jeff, were with Donald Trump when he went to Davos, physically went there, not virtually like today. That was 6 years ago. What's your takeaway from what you heard?
Look, there's no doubt that the message is largely similar in terms of America is open for business. But what is different, I think, is just the confidence in which he speaks and the delight he takes in rattling the cages of global leaders, from the business sector to global government leaders. I mean, I think saying that, again, urging and calling on NATO to spend 5% of their GDP on defense, that is something he has said before, but never as president. But I think what we also saw there was something that we were going to be measuring this presidency by. That is the degree to how much he looks forward and how much he looks backward. And there was definitely a mix of that in this. He started the speech talking again about President Biden and still trying to cling to President Biden as a foil, still trying to sort of use the metric of that last administration as a way to propel this one. Well, soon, I mean, this is Donald Trump's government now, so we will see how long that lasts. But also raising the point.
He's only been here for 3 days, ladies and gentlemen. 3 nights, okay? 3 nights, well, technically now 4 nights, okay? And on his 4th night, he is declassifying JFK and MLK files. This is what people signed up for. I never thought he would be declassifying MLK or JFK files because like, sir, what are you doing? This may be too much. This winning is too much, sir. Sir, this may be too much winning now. 4 nights, and you've done all of this stuff. 42 executive order on the first night.
Too much.
Too much winning.
Too much.
Of taxes. we've seen a flurry of executive actions. Donald Trump's presidency is going to be measured on his legislative successes, and lowering taxes, as he was talking about, the business taxes, the corporate taxes, is going to take Congress to work together. So I think that is something we are still waiting to see the president sort of to see if he can sort of corral Republicans here with very slim majorities into doing this. But also, I think on Ukraine, certainly interesting there, but he said he wants to meet or have a meeting with Vladimir Putin very soon. And we know that his first world leader phone call was at the Saudi crown prince. Of course, that was his first foreign trip back when he first became president. So look for that connection as well. But I think just the degree to which he spoke with confidence, and as you said, Dana, he revels being in front of this audience, no question about it.
Yeah, no question indeed. Thank you so much. And Daniel, Richard said that you have your work cut out for you, so I will cede you the floor. I want to start with that explanation of how tariffs work.
Yeah, this is how the president habitually describes how tariffs work. He warns foreign countries they'll have to pay them. In fact, it is U.S. importers, not those foreign exporters, who pay the tariffs. And we know from study after study and from just our experience living in the world that those importers often pass on the increased costs caused by the tariff to U.S. consumers. So it is Americans who are paying, not the foreign companies. Dana, there were also a bunch of additional inaccuracies, exaggerations, misstatements on the subject of trade. He said it's not fair that we have a $200 billion or $250 billion trade deficit with Canada. Well, good news. It is not $200 billion or $250 billion. It's actually about $41 billion in goods and services. It's about $72 billion, even if you only count goods. And it's important to note that deficit is overwhelmingly caused by the fact that the U.S. imports a large quantity of cheap Canadian heavy crude oil that helps keeps Americans' gas prices down. So that's why there is that smaller deficit. He also said the EU essentially doesn't take U.S. farm products. He said this over and over again. In fact, the EU, Dana, is the U.S.'s fourth biggest export market for agricultural products, taking about $12 billion worth per year. He complained that Joe Biden let the trade deficit with China get out of hand. In fact, the record trade deficit with China was actually set under the first presidency of Donald Trump in 2018. It's come down under Joe Biden. And he again referred to an electric vehicle mandate, saying that he's determined to let Americans buy whatever car they want. This is, I think, at least an exaggeration. It is true that Biden imposed strict new tailpipe rules that aim to push automakers towards making electric vehicles. Depending on how automakers respond, those rules could require them to make up to 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. be electric by 2032. But there has never been a Biden rule requiring any individual consumer to buy any individual kind of car. And then finally, he repeated his claim that he said, I think under Biden, we had probably the highest inflation in U.S. history. Yes, it was high, about a 40-year high at one point in 2022, never close to the all-time record of more than 20% decades past.
Daniel, you.
So why was everything just so expensive? Okay. You say everything was going great in 2022. Everything is great. But why is still now, why is everything so expensive? Courtesy of Joe Biden. They keep saying everything is great, but then the people are not feeling the effect of everything is great. That's what they said during Joe Biden. They have so much jobs that people are tired of jobs. We have the greatest economy. People are looking like the gas prices are so high. Food is so expensive. What are you saying? We have the best economy. This is what they keep doing. Everything is great. Everything is great. So why is Joe Biden not this president of the United States right now? Why is Kamala not the president of the United States right now? If everything was so great, why is Kamala Harris not the president of the United States right now? And why did the Democrat drop Joe Biden if everything is so great?
We're armed with so many facts, and it's so important to have you at all times. But when you say something like, we know this because we live in the world, that is about the most perfect chef's kiss thing to say. Daniel, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. I have a group of very talented reporters here at the table, Estelle Herndon with the New York Times, CNN's Phil Mattingly, and CNN's Priscilla Alvarez. Phil Mattingly, your takeaways?
I think the things that really stood out to me were, look, top line, we know what the president wants to do. He's telegraphed it not just his first term, but also throughout the time on his campaign trail. If we've learned anything over the course of the first 72 hours, Priscilla knows this better than anyone, being our immigration expert, he's doing what he said he was going to do. So when it comes to economics, when it comes to kind of how he wants the U.S. to be on the global stage when it comes to economics, he's telling big businesses and foreign countries, you put your companies here, I'll give you the lowest tax rate I can possibly negotiate with Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill. If you don't, that's totally up to you, but you're going to get tariffs, and you're going to get tariffs across everything. And if you want to know how jittery, uncertain, and tea leaf reading the markets are right now, I had a trader for a fund, a lot of money, fund manager for a lot of money, who texted me during that speech, and he was keyed on when Trump said that, in the prerogative to do business wherever you want, but you're going to get tariffs, he said differing amounts, in just 2 words in the middle of the types of tariffs that he would impose. The fund manager wanted to know, does that mean that it's not going to be a universal baseline tariff? Does that mean that it's not going to be 15% or 20%? That's where they're at right now, trying to figure out if this is a negotiating strategy, if they have one singular number, or if it's going to vacillate depending on the country.
And I think part of it is he doesn't know. The president doesn't know the answer to that yet, and part of it is tactical.
Yep.
Right? You were going to say something about
Well, I was going to say fundamentally.
This man fundamentally is a legend, okay? This man has been a businessman for more than 40 years. He's been making deals. He's failed. He's won. Most importantly, he's never given up. He's never quit. And now he is the 47th president of the United States. Everything he says he was going to do during the campaign trail, on the 4th night, he is already getting it done. So do I trust a man like that to get us to the finish line in less than 4 years? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay? You can hate on this guy and say he doesn't know what he's doing. The tariffs is going to make everything so high. Everything is already so expensive. Duh.
It is that he views geopolitics in a very transactional way. That's what this really was, as he was talking about investments and what happens if you don't invest. And that in and of itself, I think, is how he is approaching this term. Of course, how that unfolds and what the details are important, but it gives us that clear view now that he's off the campaign trail and installed as president as to how he's going to have and navigate these relationships.
Man, they keep saying a bunch of stuff that nobody cares about.
President Trump addressing the World Economic Forum today in Davos at 11 a.m. Eastern. He will speak by video conference, followed by a short discussion featuring questions from Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan and Santander CEO Anna Botín, among others. Trump joining Sean Hannity last night on Fox for his first sit-down interview since Inauguration Day in the Oval Office. He discussed reconciliation and the importance of extending those tax cuts. Watch.
I like the concept of the one bill. It could be something else. It could be a smaller bill and a big bill. Right. But as long as we get to the right answer, I will say that Los Angeles has changed everything, because a lot of money is going to be necessary for Los Angeles. You know, if they don't work with us on the Trump tax cuts extending, that would mean the taxes would go up more than any tax hike in the history of our country. But they'll fight us on that. They fight us on things. It's incredible.
Here, I ran into...
They don't use common sense. In my opinion, the Democrats don't use common sense.
Joining me now is the co-founder and co-chairman of the Carlyle.
The fact is, Trump is so cool and is so hardworking that everybody's just in awe of what he's been able to accomplish in 4 nights. And I don't know if you guys know, but Ron DeSantis is doing a very great job as of now. And, well, he's been doing a great job forever in Florida. Now he's moving swiftly and is supporting every move Trump is making. He's the first person. Florida is the first state to say Gulf of America on a state document. Okay, they're now saying the Gulf of America. Now Florida is saying they're welcoming ICE to come do their job in Florida. So he's positioning himself to run for the 48th president of the United States. Facts.
President Trump announced yesterday a $500 billion investment in AI. Then last night, Elon Musk publicly criticized it, saying that they didn't have the money. What's that all about?
So when I covered Trump in his first administration, there was this huge announcement around Foxconn. They were going to build this electrics factory in Wisconsin. It's this Taiwanese maker. And there was all this publicity around it. It was a big White House push. They encouraged reporters to talk about it. And then it never ended up materializing, certainly not in the way that it was touted. It did not create anywhere near as many jobs as they said initially. And so when this came out yesterday and Trump was in the Roosevelt room making this announcement, I reminded people that this did happen before, and with these announcements, you kind of have to wait and see what happens before you go too far. Now, on this one, we don't know. This is a data center that they're creating, hoping to kind of expand infrastructure in the United States when it comes to artificial intelligence, because people like Sam Altman, who was standing next to Trump in the room yesterday, have warned we're way behind China when it comes to the AI race. But Elon Musk is pouring cold water on this idea that this is a $500 billion investment. Initially, it's supposed to be $100 billion and then get up to $500 billion. Elon Musk is claiming that this company doesn't even have $10 billion behind this to do this. Now, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, is disagreeing. They are basically in legal warfare. That's important context here between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. They're suing each other. Or Elon Musk is suing them. And so it is important to remember there's tension here. But really the story of this is Elon Musk is undercutting Donald Trump on one of the biggest announcements he made on his first full day in office. And it raises that question we've been talking about, which is, what does this look like when someone who is not afraid to voice his opinion, neither of them are, when those conflict, and what this ultimately looks like. But the White House is saying that people should take Trump's word for it, not Elon's.
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk's criticism was that this consortium doesn't have the money, the $500 billion. I mean, they can raise that money pretty easily. But it's fascinating to see this criticism of something that President Trump is touting as a major accomplishment. From yesterday, Caitlin. We'll see you at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk more.
This is music to CNN ears. Oh, Musk just said something bad about the $500 billion investment in Stargate. Trump doesn't like Sam Altman, and a lot of people say, rephrase. Elon doesn't like Sam Altman, and you know why? He invested $100 million into OpenAI, and of course, Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI. And Sam Altman is now filing for OpenAI to be a for-profit company. Initially, it was supposed to be a non-profit. Okay, now it's going to be for-profit. And Elon Musk is, if I invested $100 million and also named the company OpenAI, why would you want to make it a for-profit company? This is what Elon is going back and forth about. Of course, he has the right to say whatever he wants to say. It is free speech. And this is why I like most of the people that are Republicans. They're open to saying what they want to say. They're not going to say, you know what, because I support Trump, I'm not going to disagree with him.
The second guessing right now by Elon Musk. I want to get perspective from tech journalist, author, and Pivot podcast co-host Kara Swisher. So, Kara, I don't know if anybody should be surprised by this, but what do you make of Elon Musk appearing to undermine this major announcement from the president?
Well, he wants to undermine Sam Altman. That's his goal. He's obviously in a lawsuit with him. He had a lawsuit, then he stopped a lawsuit, and then he had a lawsuit again because of his involvement with OpenAI. So this is a long-running feud between these two tech entrepreneurs, specifically around AI.
They used to be friends,
They did.
Yeah.
They did. Long time ago, not very. It was many moons ago. But like a lot of people that talk to Elon a lot, myself, Reid Hoffman, many others, they're not. There's been a real break, especially between Altman and Musk over a variety of things. And Elon's alleging certain things, and Sam is denying them or just shaking his head, essentially.
In this particular instance, I mean, he's alleging, they don't have the money. I know you've spoken to some of the parties involved in the Stargate project. Even if they don't have cash on hand, I assume they could raise this money quickly.
In 4 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I know of a lot of people who would want to invest.
Yeah, there's no lack of money among these people. They could do it out of their own pockets. Just Larry Ellison standing there, that's it. That's all you need. And interestingly, Ellison is close to Musk and has invested in Twitter and everything else. So there's plenty of money here. I mean, I think he's trying to impugn the thing because he's not part of it, or Trump is showing a little independence from all things Elon, essentially.
There are those, who've wondered whether this alliance between Trump and Musk would hit some bumps. Do you think it's a sign of that? I mean, how long would a Trump tolerate, Musk could have gone to him privately and expressed, his disdain.
Sure, he could have. Yes, if he was anyone else, he could have. But Musk plays everything out, all his emotions on X or wherever he happens to be, because he's a look at me kind of fella. And so what he did was, I think, problematic. I think they were already sort of hurting over that hand signal, however you want to interpret it. Problematic, nonetheless. I think people within the Trump orbit do think Elon sucks up a lot of oxygen. And as Maggie Haberman said, Trump is a one-ring circus. And so there can't be two ringmasters. So, Elon's going to do what he...
Trump is the commander-in-chief. Trump is the president of the United States. This man calls him Mr. President. This man says, sir, we're grateful for you. We thank you for what you're doing. That's what this man says. His name is Elon Musk. Of course, he happens to be, some people say he might be the greatest innovator of our lifetime. So if you think about it, this isn't a conversation. But of course, the left is going to make it seem like it's a conversation.
Elon wants to do, because that's what he's always done. And that's maybe not work so well in a Trump environment where Trump gets to call the shots.
Can you just talk about the idea?
More AI into this country so that we don't rely on China.
Exactly. Elon Musk has had his own ups and downs. He's failed. He's currently still failing in a lot of stuff. Okay. His rocket just blew up. I'm sure you guys heard the news. His rocket just blew up because this is what great entrepreneurs do. They fail massively and they come back and they never quit and they keep going. This is what life is. If you don't fail, if you're not willing to fail multiple times, how are you going to be successful? You're scared to fail. You're scared to try. You're scared to look bad. You're ashamed of starting small. Like these guys, they've started, now they're here and they're still failing and they keep going. So it's like they failed, they kept going. They're still failing and they keep going. So it's like people would have something to say regardless.
As we do when we make phones or things like that. Let me add, the Biden administration had a chance, from what I understand, from several of these companies involved to be part of this. And there was all kinds of back and forth. But Trump, of course, walks in having done no work and takes credit for everything, like he's going to do with the economy.
Oh my goodness, haven't done anything. Where has she been? Did she just say Trump hasn't done anything? Where has she been? Oh my goodness.
And everything else. So in that way, he's quite canny to do so and affiliate himself with the future, especially around AI.
If Musk had complete power within the Trump administration, could he not have inserted himself into this deal? I mean, is this a sign that he does not have? I mean, if Sam Altman is the person involved in this deal, not Elon Musk, Musk has his own company that he's started. Is that a sign that he doesn't have, the toehold, where he's not as secure?
Well, OpenAI.
Of course he does not. He is a businessman who happens to support the legend, the OG, the 45th, now the 47th. He supports Trump. He supports Trump. He's campaigned for Trump in Pennsylvania. He is like the biggest Trump fan out of all these billionaires. He is like the huge Trump fan. He loves the Trump family. He's a big fan. He's not close to having major influence in the Trump administration. Now, is he going to play a big role? Of course. He's now being hired by the federal government. Well, he's already getting contract from the federal government before now, but on Department of Government Efficiency, he's now working with Trump to make sure that they cut off or they cut down excessive spending in the Trump administration. They're closing down agencies. Now they halted every federal hiring. I don't think Elon Musk is, my daughter said, Musk. I don't think Elon Musk has the power they think he has when it comes to Trump's administration.
Which Sam runs is the leader. Period. They just are the leader in everything with ChatGPT. So you would want to do a deal with them that's in this country. So I don't see why he's surprised by that. And in this case, someone close to not the OpenAI, but other people involved said that. Notice he wasn't in the Roosevelt room. He didn't wander in like he did with Jeff Bezos. He didn't wander into meetings, which he tends to do at Mar-a-Lago. The White House is a little different. You can't just wander into things. And specifically, those companies didn't want Elon near this thing. And Trump seemed to agree with it.
What did you think of the hand gesture Elon Musk gave? How did you?
There we go.
I think it was a fascist salute. I think he knew what he was doing. I don't know. I don't live inside that head of his. So I think, everyone he tried to describe as he's awkward. He was saying.
It says, when he did that, he says, my heart goes to you. My heart. Listen, it's like people, I just don't get it.
How did you?
I think it was a fascist salute. I think he knew what he was doing. I don't know. I don't live inside that head of his. So I think, everyone he tried to describe as he's awkward.
My heart goes to you. My heart goes to you. My heart goes to you. It's like, okay.
He was saying all kinds of things. As I said the other night, I think he's a troll above everything. And I think he probably knew what it would do because he likes to set people off. That would be my guess from having seen him do it up close. Let's see what happens when I do this. That's sort of his personality. And he likes to do that. He likes to poke bears. He likes to say all kinds of controversial things and watch everyone lose their minds. I think let me just say, this is a 53-year-old man. He really needs to do this kind of stuff. I don't understand it, but it took attention away from Donald Trump the very first day, no matter what. So he needs to be more careful in public if he's going to be a representative of the Trump administration.
Exactly. But in this case, Elon is actually an asset, and Trump knows. Okay, Trump knows he's an asset, but Elon knows his place as well. He's not going to overextend himself because he doesn't want to get kicked out. All right, ICE is deported.
He's live in Boston, where he went on an exclusive ride-along with ICE earlier today. Pretty incredible access you got there, Bill, and how are things unfolding?
Well, John, ICE is incredibly surgical with these operations. They build intelligence on their targets for a week or two, learning when and where they're going to be somewhere. Then they go out and grab them. It's usually all over in less than a minute or so. And we got to see that firsthand. We embedded exclusively with ICE here in Boston yesterday. Take a look.
Good morning, everyone.
It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Within moments, the officers are on the move, with eyes on their first target.
Looks like we got movement, target vehicle coming out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction. And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
So you guys got your main target just now, but you got somebody else. What just happened?
So our main target was released by a sanctuary jurisdiction, not honoring a detainer.
that person was released back into the community, and when we went to go find him, he's with somebody else who was previously removed from the United States. So he's going to go today too.
And that is exactly what border czar Tom Homan has warned would happen.
When we find the bad guy, he's probably with others that are in the United States illegally. They may not be a criminal priority, but we're not walking away from them.
ICE Boston says they will continue to go into sanctuary jurisdictions and do their job.
Today was a good day. Today we took several significant public safety threats out of our communities. Unfortunately, a lot were released by sanctuary policies, but we're here to tell the Commonwealth and the rest of the country that we're going to find them whether they're released or not.
And guys, just a note on all the blurring in this story. We decided to hide the faces of the ICE officers because many of them work undercover. As for the targets they were going after, we blurred their faces if they have been charged with crimes but not convicted yet, only showing faces if somebody has been convicted of the crime. Do want to point out, during one of the arrests of the Dominican illegal alien, a woman in the neighborhood came out, went up to ICE and told officers, thank you for making that arrest. ICE officers responded and said, you're welcome. So just goes to show, even in a sanctuary area like this, there are people out there who are thankful for ICE for the work they do in getting.
Because they voted for the legend, the 45th, now the 47th. You ain't got to say that twice, I'll tell you that much. They're happy. This is what they voted for. Secured border. All right, Hunter Biden, here we go.
All right, we continue live. We're at the Capitol. We have a quick report about former President Joe Biden. In the closing moments of the administration, Biden issued sweeping preemptive pardons for his family and his friends, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, as if in his Schiff show. And of course, you missed that. Each and every single one of Joe's siblings, which begs the question, what exactly did Joe think that the people would be prosecuted for, and what was he trying to hide? And by the way, where's the outrage from the left and the state-run legacy media mob? They sure were singing a very different tune when the thought was out there that Donald Trump may do preemptive pardons. Let's take a little trip in the Capitol down memory lane, shall we?
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, here it's an effort not only to prospectively pardon people for things they have not yet been charged with and may never be charged with, but also it's the president's own family.
The president's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr. President, that would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority.
That all comes as we continue to get new reports, even tonight, that President Trump, as he winds down his last few weeks in office, is considering preemptive pardons for all his...
Oh, man, you can never make this up. We got to make a clip from this right here. Let's go back. And we're going to start it again. You can never make this up, y'all.
Lane, shall we?
All right, everybody. So listen to Joy Reid and the left talk about preemptive pardons when Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of the United States. Listen.
Have you ever heard of somebody getting a preemptive pardon who was innocent of all crime? Who's just an innocent person? Have you ever heard of that? Just somebody getting a blanket pardon and they're an innocent person?
But no, here it's an effort not only to prospectively pardon people for things they have not yet been charged with and may never be charged with, but also it's the president's own family.
The president's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr. President, that would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority.
That all comes as we continue to get new reports, even tonight, that President Trump, as he winds down his last few weeks in office, is considering preemptive pardons for all his adult children, including his son-in-law, Jared. What a mess.
Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of
precedent it sets in how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons.
Oh my God. That was Joe Biden talking about in our administration, you would never see those kind of pardons. We would never use the power of the executive to do such wild things, right? He just pardoned his entire family on the last day. Pardoned every single one of them. He pardoned his son last Thanksgiving, right? So these folks, they will definitely talk about Trump and say that they're going to accuse Trump of the things that they're actually doing. Trump is the bad person. Look at him. Look at what he's doing. While they're doing the exact same thing. And Trump didn't even pardon any of his kids. Well, there you have it. This is for the Democrats.
Really? Oh, isn't that nice? The funniest part of that, though, had to be Adam Schiff, right, your old friend? Because he got one of the pardons that he said nobody should have. Anyway, leading that effort would be our next guest to investigate all this, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, and the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. These guys have done phenomenal work. James Comer has a best-selling book out about the Bidens. Thank you both. How much money did the Biden family make?
The family took in $27 million from our adversaries around the world. They never could say, even when we brought them in for depositions and interviews, what they actually did to receive the money. Then we found, going through their bank records, that they had another $8 million in loans that they never paid back, never paid any interest on or anything. So that's $35 million.
I want that loan. Can I have that?
Yeah, right. Wouldn't we all?
I think everybody here would like that. And you expose all of this. Now, I would argue that he forgot one person. Himself.
Well, you know, that what we said in our investigation was that we found 10 different Biden family members, including Joe Biden, profited from the influence peddling schemes. The money would come from a wire from a foreign adversary, usually a foreign oligarch. In some cases, we believe the country of China.
An oligarch. Didn't Joe Biden warn us about oligarchs? Aren't there Elena Baturina, wasn't she an oligarch?
Yes.
The guy in Kazakhstan, the people in Ukraine, the people in China.
Romania.
A lot of oligarchs the Bidens are friends with.
The money would then go through a series of shell companies. Then it would be laundered down. And then the 10 different Biden family members would receive incremental payments. And ironically, 6 of the pardons came from family that received payments that had been laundered. This isn't my word, Sean. These are the words of 6 different banks. They were laundering money through shell companies that the Biden families received. He pardoned them preemptively, and the only place in the world the spouses were ever named was in our investigation in the Oversight and Judiciary Committee. We named those spouses by name. The media, other than your show, Sean, and thank you for being the platform to get this out. Thank God your ratings are higher than MSNBC and CNN combined.
Oh, thank God, too.
The American people.
I second that. Yeah.
The American people saw it.
Thank you. You guys did the digging, the hard work, and you exposed the Peter Schweitzer deserves a lot of credit, too.
Absolutely.
He wrote the book Secret Empires. President Trump signed this weaponization of government has to stop. Yep. Also revoking 51 former intel officials that knew nothing about Hunter's laptop and tried to interfere in an election. Jim Jordan, you were there. You investigated every part of this. Didn't Hunter's laptop talk about half his income going to Pops?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there a WhatsApp message to the
big
head
guy,
of the CEFC?
Yeah. Right.
The big guy.
Didn't Joe's home repairs get paid for by Hunter Biden, according to emails with their economic guru, Eric Sherwin, if I'm not mistaken?
Yep. All that took place. But what I really think was important today is President Trump did what he said he would do when it came to pardons and people, the defendants of January 6th, and Joe Biden didn't. Joe Biden told us he would never pardon his family, and yet he did all of them. Joe Biden said, oh, there's no pardons needed. We just heard it for folks who were involved with the January 6th committee, and yet he did it. So Joe Biden did exactly opposite what he told us he was going to do. President Trump kept his word, did exactly what he said. I think that's the big takeaway from the actions we see from both the outgoing president and, of course, our new president.
Here's the big question. Is this over? Because my understanding, Alan Dershowitz's understanding, is once you get a pardon, you no longer have the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. If they go before your committees, every one of these pardoned family members, don't they have to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help them God?
There's a number of things we want to look at. Everything's on the table. But I really think one of the keys is the report we got just right before, just a few weeks ago, was with the 26 confidential human sources. 26 confidential human sources here on January 6, 2021, 17 inside restricted space, 4 in the Capitol. 2 of those 4 in the Capitol were
You can never make this up, y'all.
tasked to be here by the FBI. I think there are all kinds of questions we have for those individuals.
I have 5 people that said Trump authorized the use of the Guard days before. So did the Capitol Police Chief, by the way, begging for the National Guard. In writing, Muriel Bowser denied the use of the National Guard. It was her authorization. Pelosi did nothing. They never brought in the Sergeant of Arms. Liz Cheney needed hers, in my view, too.
Not to mention the number of false things that committee put out on me, on you, on so many people.
Me? Little old me?
Yeah, exactly. So, I think there's
You better get ready. This next 4 years, the media would be working overtime. There would be so much content. Everybody head was going to just turn around, spin. Okay? Your head is going to spin with the amount of content you're going to see.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to have you here. I'm thrilled to be joined, of course, by our incoming Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Ratcliffe, as well as his lovely wife, Michelle. And I will say that John is a great patriot, a guy that has the trust of the president, and I think really believes deeply in the mission, first of all, of keeping Americans safe, but also doing it in a way that ensures that the American people have confidence in our national intelligence services. And both of those things really matter. We're not going to have much safety, and we're going to have a great intelligence services unless the American people actually trust that those intelligence services are doing their job, and I have every confidence that John Ratcliffe is going to do that. That's why the president nominated him, and that's why the Senate confirmed him with big margins. Now, normally, after I administer the oath, I would actually invite the new guy to say a few words, but given that he's the leader of the CIA, anything that he told you, he would have to, well, you know how that goes. So John Ratcliffe is not going to give any remarks because every piece of knowledge in his brain is actually classified. So he's going to head straight to Langley and do his job that the American people need him to do. So John, are you ready? I'm ready. Okay, please place your hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. I, John Ratcliffe.
I, John Ratcliffe,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help you God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, it is on, y'all. It is on. All right, this might probably be our last clip.
You showed great confidence in Steve Witkoff. Why you said that you doubt that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold, since you appraised his
Well, no, I think he's great,
efforts?
but it's a very tricky place. It's very tricky. We'll see. And if
When Joe Biden was president, did you watch any of the Oval Office conversations like this? You could never. Joe Biden could never, ladies and gentlemen. You have a commander-in-chief who is open to the American people. He's willing to talk. He's willing to converse with the media, even though some of their questions are just mind-blowing. It's like, what are you asking? But he answers the questions like a true gentleman.
Why you said that you doubt that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold since you appraised his
Well, no, I think he's
efforts?
great, but it's a very tricky place. It's very tricky. And we'll see. And if something does happen, they will not be happy.
Sir, follow up on that one. In terms of Steve Witkoff, are you going to put him in charge of Iran's strategy, and do you want him talking directly with the Iranians?
No, but he's certainly somebody I would use. He's done a fantastic job. He's a great negotiator. He's a very good person, a very popular person. Gets along with people. I have great negotiators. They have no personality whatsoever, and then I have some that do. Steve has a wonderful way about him, and people like him, and even in this case, both sides like him. And he was able to make a deal. That deal would have never been made without Steve. The Biden people couldn't make the deal. They were working on it for a year and a half. They couldn't make a deal. We got it done prior to the inauguration. We said it has to be before the inauguration. I mean, the deal should hold, but if it doesn't hold, there'll be a lot of problems.
As you already know, this man already declassified RFK, JFK files. So tomorrow and next would be a very interesting day. This next 4 years is going to be heavy. All right? Heavy. You better get ready. You better get ready. I'm going to play that clip one more time, and then we should be done for tonight. Probably. I'm not sure. I might be back here. But here we go.
So they're all in prison now.
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous. Okay.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades.
The legend.
Everything will be revealed.
Did you hear that? Everything will be revealed. Listen to that.
For years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay?
I mean, JFK, MLK, JFK and MLK. All right. I mean, listen to what he just signed.
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous. Okay?
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay?
So JFK, RFK, MLK. This next few days is about to be spicy.
Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Legend.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Promises made, promises kept. He made these promises, and now, of course, people are going to say, what about Epstein? The president never got anything done for 4 years. If you ask us, say, well, the CHIPS Act, and infrastructure, like you can actually measure infrastructure. How? There you have it. The legend just declassified MLK, JFK, and MLK's files. If you are, brown skin and you respect MLK's legacy, this is a big celebration for you. If you respect MLK, I'm sure his family is like going wild right now because they already sued the FBI. Okay. So now with their, thank you, with his file declassified, this is going to be the greatest news they've ever heard in a long time. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. God bless you. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on God. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and believe in Almighty God. And take care of your kids. Fathers, take care of your kids. You know what time it is. It is your boy Genesis. And I am signing out of the premises. Also, thank you to the military members. Thank you to the veterans. God bless you. You protect the homeland, and we thank you for your service. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Somebody says, "You're lost. Please find me. I'm lost." Maybe I am. Maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. I'm lost because I say take care of your kids. You better go take care of your kids, dog. You better take care of your kids, dog. All right. With that being said, y'all, I love you guys. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I may be back here, but don't forget to double tap your screen. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the moderators, Amanda, Zyro's Garden. You know what time it is. All right. Amanda, I know you've been working doing stuff, but we rarely see you, Amanda. Please join us often, Amanda. Turn on your notification, Amanda. Okay? God bless you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And have a wonderful night. I may be back here. Don't forget, I may be back here. I may be back here. And I also just uploaded 3 new videos on the video channel. So this is a live. Go watch the videos. We just dropped 3 new videos. So God bless you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to double tap and join the memberships. It is only $4.99. I love you guys. God bless you. I'm signing out one more time.